What if everything you thought you knew about Jeffrey Dahmer's first victim was a lie? Newly uncovered police documents reveal impossible timelines, contradictory evidence, and a mystery that could change the entire Dahmer narrative forever. I'm about to show you evidence that's never been made public before. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because this investigation goes deeper than anyone imagined. Steven Mark Hicks, 18 years old, June 18, 1978. According to official records, he became Jeffrey Dahmer's first victim on that summer day in Bath, Ohio. But here's the problem. These newly discovered police files tell a completely different story. And the contradictions are so glaring, so impossible to ignore, that they raise a terrifying question. Was Steven Hicks really Dahmer's first victim? Or is there something much darker going on here? Let me set the scene. June 18, 1978. Steven Hicks leaves his home around noon, planning to hitchhike to Chippewa Lake Park. He never makes it home. 6 days later, his father Richard files a missing person report. Fast forward 13 years, Jeffrey Dahmer is arrested in Milwaukee. During interrogation, he confesses to killing someone in Bath, Ohio back in 1978. Police connect the dots. Steven Hicks becomes victim number 1. Case closed, right? Wrong. Because when you actually examine the evidence, and I mean really examine it, nothing adds up. Here's where it gets disturbing. Steven Hicks' own parents couldn't agree on basic facts about their son. Richard Hicks, the father, files the first report on June 24, 1978. He describes Steven wearing a necklace with a red cross and having burn marks on his left forearm. But wait. 7 years later, Steven's mother Martha files her own report. Same son, completely different details. She describes him wearing a chain with teeth braces, not a red cross, and places the scar on his right forearm, not his left. How do parents get such basic details wrong about their own child? These aren't minor mix-ups. These are fundamental contradictions about identifying features. But it gets worse. Look at this detail that everyone missed. Steven's social security number is listed as unknown on his father's report. Unknown. His own father didn't know his social security number. Now, I know what you're thinking. Maybe Richard was just stressed. Maybe he forgot. But here's the thing. In 1978, social security numbers were absolutely essential for any official documentation. School records, medical records, any government interaction. How does a father not know this basic information about his 18-year-old son? Either Richard Hicks was completely disconnected from Steven's life, or there's something else going on here. Let's talk about what happened on July 26, 1991, the day that changed everything. Lieutenant Richard Muncie contacts Detective John Karabatsos about a possible 1978 homicide in Bath, Ohio. Why? Because Milwaukee police have Jeffrey Dahmer in custody, and he's claiming he killed someone in Bath back in '78. But here's the crucial detail everyone overlooked. Dahmer didn't initially give them Steven's name. The police had to figure out who the victim was themselves. They ran a computer search through missing persons files and decided Steven Hicks was the most likely match. Think about that for a moment. Dahmer confesses to a murder but doesn't name his victim. Police essentially pick Steven Hicks from a lineup of missing persons cases. How convenient that everything suddenly fits together. But does it really fit? Martha Hicks didn't just sit around waiting for answers. According to her victim impact statement during Dahmer's trial, the family went to extraordinary lengths to find Steven. They consulted psychics. They hired cult deprogrammers. They brought in private investigators. They even contacted unsolved mysteries. Cult deprogrammers? Why would you need cult deprogrammers to find a missing teenager unless you suspected he'd been recruited by a cult? And here's another detail that doesn't add up. Steven's case had been updated multiple times since 1978. Photograph added, checks for unidentified bodies, computer searches across all states. Nothing. For 13 years, Steven Hicks was just another missing person. Then suddenly Jeffrey Dahmer confesses and everything falls into place? The timing is almost too convenient. Here's a detail that should terrify you. We don't actually know if Steven Hicks ever made it to Chippewa Lake Park. The reports say he intended to hitchhike there. Martha's report states he was never seen again by family or friends after being dropped off at the west leg of Manchester Road on Route 224. If Steven was hitchhiking, someone picked him up. If he made it to the park, someone would have seen him there. If he didn't make it, then where did he disappear? This isn't just a missing piece of the puzzle. This is the cornerstone of the entire case, and it's completely unsupported by evidence. Let's step back and look at what we actually know versus what we've been told. Facts. Steven Hicks disappeared June 18, 1978. Parents provided contradictory physical descriptions. Father didn't know son's social security number. No evidence Steven reached intended destination. Case unsolved for 13 years. Dahmer confessed without initially naming victim. Official narrative. Steven was Dahmer's first victim. Dahmer picked him up hitchhiking. Case solved by confession. The newly uncovered files don't just show inconsistencies. They reveal a pattern of evidence that doesn't support the official conclusion. So I have to ask, was Steven Hicks really Jeffrey Dahmer's first victim? Or are we looking at something much more complex? And much more disturbing? This is just part one of our investigation. We've obtained additional never-before-seen files that reveal even more shocking contradictions in this case. If you want to see how deep this rabbit hole goes, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Part 2 drops soon, and trust me, you're not ready for what we've uncovered. In the comments below, tell me, do you think Steven Hicks was really Dahmer's first victim? Or is there a bigger cover-up happening here? Because after seeing these files, I'm not so sure we know the real truth about what happened in Bath, Ohio in 1978.